Currently, I run 24 agents with probably 100 skills. Some of them are used shared skills, of course. They are running 24/7. So I basically employ 24 employees. They are plumbers. They hate the AI. Once you realize that AI is costing you more than a human being, again, it's an ROI game. You just stop using AI. In your mind, you already have a no, so you might as well ask. If I haven't failed, I haven't experimented enough. I haven't tried enough. I haven't tried enough angles. If you can learn faster than anyone else about your business, you're going to be unstoppable. This task alone can change everything for the company.
Okay, so good morning, Didi. Great to have you with us today.
Great to be here, Yuval. How are you today?
I'm good. So as I mentioned before, I love to talk about being relevant and being resilient. And I think that we had a panel together, and I really loved a lot of the things that you mentioned. So this is some of the things that we will discuss. But before that, is it a good time to build the startup if I'm starting my own thing tomorrow?
You'll be surprised about my answer. It's never a good time to build a startup. And it's
It's
always the
never.
best time. And it's always the best time to build a startup.
What do you mean?
A startup is a mindset. It's not about the times that we live in. It's about a mindset and a problem that you're very familiar with and your enthusiasm about it and about the fact that you cannot sleep about it. Startup is very, I guess, vague word of, you can create an amazing cup of coffee that will be considered a startup or an amazing cyber company that will rule the world. Both of them will be called Palo Alto or Starbucks. Both were starting as startups with a crazy mind, crazy idea of a guy that didn't hear no, basically.
So you think that with all the changes in AI and with the tools and the ability to do it in a smaller team, is it like easier now or is it harder now? Because you've been in this trip for a long time.
It's harder, and mainly because of the FOMO, not and the rest of the things are pretty stable in the last, 100 years. The game was always a distribution game and retention game. Even if you grew, grapes or wheat, okay? Your goal was to bring clients to your merchandise or vice versa, right? And once they bought it, you want them to buy it over and over again. SaaS is very similar to that. You acquire customers via different distribution channels, and your sole purpose in life is to make them happy and make them buy again. The more challenging part is that the world has become very, very small. There is no single idea that fly over the web overnight, and thousands of people, even more, from all over the world can create this similar idea, which makes a very noisy environment. But as you started this show, resilience and persistency, it's all of these words that, we use them too much, but if you live by that motion, you'll probably be successful. Not sure how fast, but you'll probably be successful. So the FOMO is the noise. Like everybody are doing the same thing. Everybody are running. Everybody are making so much money. 99% of this is pure lie. They're just trying to basically create distribution for themselves.
But they're professional liars. Yeah.
It's okay. Again, I don't think they're really lying. They're exaggerating in many ways. But what was news back in the days? Actual newspapers or somebody who gave some kind of a rumor. Okay, the gold rush. How did it start? Somebody said that over the West, there's gold. Everybody believed it and went. Not everybody became rich. You know who really became rich? Most of the people who went for gold did not get rich. The guys who sold the shovels or Levi's.
Yeah. No,
it's the ecosystem. It's the ecosystem, always.
That's a good point. So we'll start with relevance. Workiz Genius. So that's your AI suite for the trades. You gave it to customers, and according to what I saw, it gave them a 10% revenue lift. What is the one feature that did most of the work for them? And maybe you can just briefly talk about your startup and then connect it to this.
Absolutely. So in a nutshell, Workiz is a business in a box for plumbers, HVAC, electrical contractors in North America. Anything from an embedded phone system, AI that supports all the communication layers, AI and human. It's an amazing to see. Scheduling system, invoicing, estimates, payments on the other side, and of course, marketing and reputation management. So everything a business needs to run the back office while focus on the actual job that they need to do. If it's an HVAC guy, fix your unit at home. The introduction of Workiz Genius started about a couple of years ago. We were the first to market with an AI answering. Today, again, as we mentioned before, it's very related. Everybody are offering them. It can cost zero. It can cost tens of thousands of dollars. The promise is very simple. You are not at the office all the time or from 5 p.m. in the US. Somebody needs to pick up the phone. AI comes to your help. And we know that 20 to 40% of the calls are not being answered. Therefore, we introduced Workiz Genius Answering. And I mean, long story short, today we announced the Workiz revenue machine. We built the answering was one part of it, composed out of 4 items. Answering is catch-all. So any customer that wants anything from you, the answering agent will pick up that request. We have Genius Scheduling. Take your time slots and attach it to the right request at the right time. We have the reputation agent that basically take a good interaction and ask for Google review. You know, this company,
nice.
Google, everybody are using it. Reviews are very important to increase visibilities. Answering reviews fast is even more important. Now, and the last part was introduced this week. It's called Genius Marketing, basically the demand generation. Basically take all the customers that you worked with in the past, all your open opportunities, and let the agent pick and choose the right segment at the right time, bringing you more and more clients. And guess who's picking up the phone when they say yes? That's a revenue machine. You said 10%. Because of the marketing agent, we already see 20% increase in revenue on average across almost every business we turn it on.
And in terms of like how you use AI, we briefly spoke about that because we see some startups using a lot of AI internally building stuff, some less. I think that it would be great to understand from you, from like maybe other founders that you work with, what are the startups that are using, and specifically you, to stay ahead and really not just to say, okay, I'm summarizing my email, doing like basic agentic stuff for research. What are the things that really saved you a lot of time, a lot of money, and actually grow your company?
So my take on AI is very similar to the cloud revolution. I don't think that AI is very different. The speed is different, but everything else, all the other characteristics are similar. First, you think there is an opportunity, use it yourself on a daily basis, a few hours a day. Prove the point on a small interactions, even if it's a chat, right? So even if you think you know the answer, still ask the chat to criticize you. Very basic, I know, saying anything new, but that's the beginning of that every leader must practice every day. The next step is to start working on a schedule. Schedules, I would correlate them to agents, okay? If I'm doing the very same task or ask on a daily basis, every day, 8 a.m., as you mentioned, summarize my email, an agent can do that for me. So that's the next obvious step. Once you identify those repetitive tasks, it can be, in my case, go over Slack, email, calendar, my meetings from yesterday, crunch everything and give me the top 3 items that I need to attend this morning. Okay? It would take me or my PA probably an hour or 2 just to go over all the chaotic schedule and interactions that I have on a daily basis. An agent can do a much better job than that. An agent can run on a schedule and can identify priorities, which human beings find hard in many cases because they don't have all the context. The next step is to create skills that are uniquely meant to solve a specific problem. A skill can be an email analyzer. A skill can be read this report. You're my BI analyst. Read this report, but you know all my metadata, so you can actually understand the report every time that I'm asking you for it. An agent or a schedule, okay, I correlate them quite. It's the same thing, okay. can use one or more skills to become or create, in my eyes, a superpower, a small superpower.
Mm-hmm.
So with these simple examples, you can extrapolate to everything you do on your day-to-day. Every meeting that is ending, a summary is being embedded into Google Drive. Agent is reading it every hour, summarizing it, create action items, put calendar invite if needed, send the action items to the right person at the right time. And even further, it actually asks people to follow up because, oh, you didn't do that. And we said that you're going to do that by X. So it's a project manager, a PA, summarize everything in the same item, right? But it requires to use very different skills. Each of them is very specific to what I want this employee to become. Currently, I run 24 agents with probably 100 skills. Some of them are used shared skills, of course. They are running 24/7. But the only time that I'm shutting this off is on a vacation, which is a whole different story, or when it actually disturbed my day-to-day with controlling my browser. So I basically employ 24 employees. Next step, and we can cover it if you want, is loops. Everybody is speaking about it today. I'm doing it for a year. It's basically the evolution of an employee, constant learning. You do, you take the outcome of what you've done, put it in an Excel. In my case, it's an Excel. You read it every time that you want to do this action again, and you learn from what you've done and the changes that you need to do in order to make it better.
But can you give me, I think, the two follow-up. One is what are the top 4 agents, because you have a lot of them. And the other thing is more if you can give me like the whole flow that will just like specific examples, maybe on the sales side.
So the top 4 agents are one is that are taking my top 100 clients and basically scraping the hell out of the web. So I will know everything about them. Every role change, every news wire, PR, every announcement, every bad review, I know about my top 100 clients. This keeps me very close to them without needing to ask anyone. Most of the companies, most startups will have a few anchor clients. You need to follow up with them. This is very important to run.
And you use it for what? For when you talk to them, so you know the context, or that's like proactively helping you to email them?
Yes, now they know my secret, but yes.
Yeah.
But I also make my team aware of big things that are changing. If a CEO is changing, you obviously want to congratulate them, or next to his house, congratulations for your nomination. It's funny, but you should do these things.
Send them a cake.
Yes. It's like by Workiz, your loyal vendor or whatever, right? Another one is obviously the PA or the scheduler, or you can call it whatever you want. Goes over every meeting and keeps me honest about it. It basically my brain. At the end of the day, this is my brain. Probably the most important one is the command manager. The one is looking at all of them once a day, trying to figure out if they done their job and summarizing everything to me in a very nice report. So that's the report I'm looking at. And if something is out of the ordinary or I need to attend, I go and click and go to the actual agent to query it. So these are the top 3.
So just to double click on that, so it's mean that you will look at the different agent, what did they do, and then if someone didn't work or did it like a bit of like not giving you the full picture, so it's a good time for you to look inside and maybe update that, change the context, and so on.
Think about it like you created a small company underneath you, where you have a chief of operations that need to tell you, oh, this guy was sick. This guy needed permissions. This guy doesn't have enough information to complete the task. This guy needs to ask you a question. It's what makes a company, right? And within time, you build more and more hierarchies as you trust it. Again, it's you need to build trust. But in my eyes, I mean, a lot of the tasks that I was doing manually today are being done automatically. I got 10 times more work than before.
Yeah. And I think that what you mentioned also, that when everything started, you took it as your, you were also the chief AI officer and really trying that and building with that. Is it still the case, or you feel now that you saved, like you understood what everything and like what's going on, and now you let it go a little bit?
Now I changed roles a little bit from
Okay,
the advocate to the ones who are trying to push back. The
interesting.
Look, everybody are in there already. I mean, we pushed them. We did what we had to do, like a weekly company meeting, half an hour that I run, providing them with all the goodies of Google Gemini. I mean, we are a Google shop at the end of the day. So everything that Google released, that's the new session of the week, and it created an amazing, amazing impact on the company. However, people started to create applications, started to expose data outside, started to reveal stuff that we didn't want them to reveal. Didn't care about security, didn't care about scalability, didn't consider the maintenance that needs to be done after you're creating an app. And God forbid if you launched it across the company, hundreds of people, and there is a bug and people are relying on it, suddenly you are becoming a bottleneck and not doing your actual job. So again, very much like cloud, we are post the Wild West syndrome, I guess. And now we are considering every new app as what is it good for? Is it really saving us? Should we buy or build? Who's going to own it? And people need to sign on this. Otherwise, just use it personally and don't distribute it within the company. And yes, token economy is also something that we need to consider. We don't have this problem right now, but we're obviously looking into token economy to make sure that nobody is just using infinite amount of tokens and the cost ROI doesn't make any sense.
And what you can tell me about the context, because there is, the context about you as a person, it's easy, you can manage that, but then there is also the context of the company. If some engineer is working on that, he's working on that with different contexts. How did you solve that or not solve? Probably it's
So
everyone is
that's a
to solve
problem we're
that.
solving right now.
Yeah.
Again, we're not reinventing the wheel. We're building a company brain. The company brain is basically a command center of many, many skills, many, many memories that are separated. In general, most of the departments will use their own department brain. Some of us, specifically management or cross-functional teams, need to use cross-functional memory. That's why we build it. It takes time. Again, needs to be very careful about it. You don't want to expose all data to everyone. But that's the evolution of everything. Just look at the cloud scenarios when Amazon first started and then Google joined. I mean, and it evolved into security layers and databases and roles and hyperscaling. I mean, it's so advanced right now that we have everything that we need. Similar evolution goes in AI, again, just faster. Instead of 20 years, it happens in 3 years.
Yeah. No, I agree, and I think that it's interesting because you went, as you said before, from the wild west. Now it's actually now taking a few steps back and like, okay, figure out where we need that, where we don't need that, and having more
Exactly.
structure for that.
We don't use AI to interact with human beings because our customers are SMB. They're plumbers. They hate the AI.
Yeah.
And we use some AI, but it's usually there is a man in the middle. So for phone calls, we did try. It doesn't work. Meaning the conversion rate is much better for human beings. Once you realize that AI is costing you more than a human being, again, it's an ROI game.
Yeah.
You just stop using AI. Within, I don't know, a few years, maybe it's going to get better and people will not notice. But we still prefer the up close and personal approach in this case.
Amazing. So if I'm going to the second pillar, we talked now about being relevant. Now is about being resilient. And you mentioned a little bit about like a founder. One of the important things is to being resilient. What does it mean for you? And again, as in your journey as a founder, what would you advise a founder that just started for the first time?
So a few tips. It is a roller coaster, and if you don't understand it, don't start. Remember, the worst time opening a startup is it's a perception. It's incorrect or correct. It depends who you are and how your mind is wired. There is a joke that I always tell my employees when you arrive home on your birthday and you see that they got you a dog. A pessimistic person would say, "Shit! Oh my God, he shit on my bed." And an optimistic person will come to his room on his birthday, see a dog poop on his bed, and say, "Oh my God, they got me a dog." That's the very same scenario. but our brain is wired differently, and you can work on it, right? You can look at every scenario as a disaster or opportunistic, as a learning opportunity or as a disastrous case. And to be honest, as a startup founder, as a CEO that is constantly need to grow, to be efficient, you have, even in a single day, in some cases in a single hour, this roller coaster where people are coming to your office and devastating news. Okay? Happened to me yesterday. Yes, it's a bummer, but does it really kills the startup? Does it really kills your vision? Can I look at the optimistic perception? Oh my God, they bought me a dog. So every time and it's hard, don't get me wrong. I mean, it's a constant work. Resilience is to face these challenges, to understand that the market is changing, technology is changing, but one thing will probably never change: what you've built and all your hard work and the hard work you're going to do tomorrow and your mindset. And these things are what makes resilient so important in the startup world. It's not about the feature or the customer you just lost or the customer you just won. It's one step closer to your dream. And for some of us, the dream is actually the journey, not the goal, selling the company or whatever.
So following your last answer regarding founders that just starting something new and they're not used to getting so many no's from the design partners, from the investors. What's kind of like the tip or something that you can share from your experience on to overcome another no and another no?
The first thing is fairly obvious: is what do you need to change, if at all, in your next pitch, sales, deck, or whatever. So, and again, cliche. If you haven't changed anything, why do you expect a different result? In some cases, you need to change the human being that you speak to. So it's not always that change. The second one would be from my mother-in-law. In your mind, you already have a no, so you might as well ask. And I go with this sentence for anything. Every time that I too shy to ask or don't know not sure if I'm going to get yes or no, that's obviously going to be my question. I already have a no. I should ask.
So ask, you mean like ask why did I get a no?
Not just that, but in some cases, because we get so many no's, we're too shy, too afraid to ask because we have a no in our head. Okay? I know it sounds obvious, but most people will not ask for a favor, will not ask for an intro, will not ask for the next meeting, will not.
Because they're afraid that there might be another no, so why to ask?
The meeting didn't go well. I'm not going to ask for next action items. I should ask. Worst case, they're going to say no, but maybe, just maybe, they liked what they've seen. I just didn't realize that they liked it. Okay? Yeah. You will be surprised, okay, if you will have this mindset. Positiveness is like part of everything that we do. And again, these are the most important things. The rest is, very specific to what you do. Giving up is also something that, it's not in my vocabulary, but it's not always great to keep on doing what you do if you fail and fail and fail and fail. In some cases, you need to pivot or just to stop and do something completely different. When it's the right time, you know it in your heart and stomach, not in your mind. It feels different. You don't have the passion.
And I think that also something that you mentioned in our conversation, you said you try to fail once a day. Is it something that it's like a mantra that you try to do in your personal and professional life?
Yes, but it comes from an experimentation point of view, not from wanting to fail. If I haven't failed, I haven't experimented enough. I haven't tried enough. I haven't tried enough angles. I haven't tried enough new things. And failing means that my route right now doesn't work that well, or my experiment wasn't as successful that I figured. But I am a big believer that failures are basically the building blocks, and they are creating a better platform for learning than success. In success, you don't always know what was the reason for the success. But if you failed and learned, and then you change one more thing and you succeeded, you know what made the success a success.
But I feel like, it's kind of like we all the time say, fail and fail fast. But how you actually do it in terms of the culture and the company itself?
Super hard.
Because if an employee failing too many times, maybe he's not the right person to be at the company.
Yes, but if they're failing too many times and not learning, this is not the right person. If they're failing many times and learning, it's absolutely the right person. Maybe it's the wrong strategy. I think that experimentation mindset is something that most people don't have. Unfortunately, most people have this like, tell me what to do and I'll do that, instead of questioning, why do we do it like this? Can we do it on a different level? Can I take 10% of what I do and twist it a little bit? And again, it's not just marketing, it's sales, it's development, it's everything that we do. And once you have this mindset where that's the task, maybe I can do it twice faster. Maybe I can bring a fresh idea to the plate. Not sure it's going to be successful, but my hypothesis is that I'm going to change something. Assuming you succeeded, great. Do 50% and then 100%. Assuming you failed, understand why you failed. Now, here is the challenging task. Measuring it, in many cases, is almost an impossible mission to people. We don't like to measure ourselves. What's considered to be success, what's considered to be failure, and do it before you even start the test. Why we're not giving ourselves these two boundaries? Because we're afraid to fail.
Okay. So I think that this is an important thing, that in terms of, even for us on a personal level, it's something that we can do without the assessment of the company and so on. And it will allow us, maybe it's an easier path to go and try to fail.
One of the smartest guys I know always telling me, it's not fail fast, it's faster learning pace. Faster learning pace. If you can learn faster than anyone else about your business, you're going to be unstoppable. Every time that you are not having this mindset, you're slowing down and everybody else are going to be faster than you.
And in terms of faster learning, as a follow-up is, all the FOMO in terms of like all the new tools and new thing that you can do with AI and other companies and this new agent and then OpenClaw. And how do you keep up with that in terms of like making sure that you're, up to date and you're really leveraging everything?
I have one podcast that I'm listening to that basically summarizes the entire changes of the week. I read a lot of Twitter or
Which
X.
one? The daily AI podcast?
The Daily AI Brief, yeah. That's the name of the podcast. It's very good in my eyes. In general, as a CEO, I don't have a lot of time. And it's very easy to go after FOMO. And it's very easy to send, and my VPs can surely tell you that I'm bombarding them with, oh, have you seen that? Have you seen that? I'm lucky enough that they know when to ignore or when to read and tell me that's bullshit and that's interesting. But I guess that right now where we're at the right time, you need to be very much like choosing a cloud, right? Be very good in what you do in the tool that you chose instead of trying everything on earth. I don't think this FOMO is good for most of us. I think that if you decided on OpenAI or Claude or Gemini, just do it and do it all the time, all day long, and be very sophisticated in this. I find very little differences between the three when you are a professional.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And just for the last question that I have is one task. What's the one task in Founders Week that AI should already be doing, and most founders haven't set it up yet? So maybe like a practical takeaway for things that, and again, you mentioned that already, but one thing that they can do a review and implement it tomorrow.
I would call it the email researcher or the draft researcher. Every email that I get, most of them are, yes, no, easy. But it takes a lot of the time when somebody is asking a difficult question, which requires, I don't know, an hours of research. When you wake up in the morning and you already have a draft, post-research, reading all of your meetings, understanding your mindset, and telling you, look, this is basically what the angle should be, or you should be aware of X, Y, and Z. It's not answering for you, but giving you enough context. This is a huge time saver. And when you're the bottleneck, and let's face it, a CEO is a bottleneck. Every hour that I don't answer somebody, a project is delayed by 1 hour. It's very simple. This task alone can change everything for the company.
So let's do a quick rapid fire. I'll say a word and you will say what's come to mind. Salesforce.
Overrated.
Sisense.
A great journey.
The wrench.
Will not be replaced.
Bootstrap.
Great idea right now.
Sunday morning,
Take it easy.
Idan,
Partner,
agents.
the future.
Amazing. Didi, thank you very much. Super interesting, and I think that each time that I'm talking to you, I get more perspective on the thing that we should do. We should be aware, and as you said, it's not like the new things. It's more about like how you execute that and use that, and so for me it was very useful and interesting. Thank you.
Thank you so much.